Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fluently Forward. Today on the podcast, we are going to be talking all about Addison Rae. And this is a very special topic to me because Addison Rae is actually how I technically kind of started my career. So back when I started on TikTok in 2020, I feel like all of us hopped on TikTok then, I would just post random things and, of course, sometimes read the blind items on crazydaysandnights.net, just for fun with my morning coffee. And I remember one day I was reading the website and it was this A+ list TikToker people think slept with this A+ list podcaster. And everybody in the comments was talking about how Addison Rae had slept with Joe Rogan. Okay. We're going to talk about what I think about that blind item at the later half of this episode. But I made a TikTok about it being dude, for anyone else who reads blind items, can you believe that they're talking about TikTokers on it now? It used to only be celebrities and now TikTokers are in the mix. And I thought people were going to be yeah, that's crazy. And instead everybody went, what in the fuck is a blind item? And then that kind of led to the TikTok videos, which led to the podcast. And now here we are. Welcome to the episode. So anyway, since then, Addison Rae has just kind of been shooting up and off like a rocket. Was huge on TikTok. Blind items are being written about her, which to me means that you're a verified celebrity. And now she's in the music scene. She had a little bit of a brief Netflix career that we're going to talk about. But I think for some people who might not be as aware of Addison Rae as I am, you might be curious, how did this girl go from TikTok to pop girl? How did she become friends with Charlie XCX? How much did that help her? Who is she dating? What is she like? Is she trying to be Britney Spears? What do people think of her? And we're going to talk all about it today. I have to admit, I'm going to be biased because I think Addison Rae is she is just so sunshiny to me. She's just such a breath of fresh air. I think she's so cute. I think she's adorable. She just has, to me, the it factor. And even before, her comparisons that people are making between her and Britney Spears, a young girl from Louisiana who found herself thrust into the Hollywood scene and is singing and dancing and, blah, blah, blah. I always thought that she reminded me of Britney Spears because, and if you're watching on YouTube, I'll insert a clip of it here, but there was this one scene where Britney Spears is dancing to Toxic, I believe, or Slave for You at some sort of event. And she goes up the stairs and she turns around and she smiles. It's not when she's doing it for the award show. It was more of a low key thing. I'll put it on YouTube. And that smile, that megawatt smile that Britney Spears just had has always reminded me of Addison Rae. God, something about her smile is just delightful. So I have to admit, I'm biased because I just think she's the cutest thing ever. But we are going to talk about her family drama. There is a lot of it. Her family kind of I guess, lore, how she transitioned into the pop world, why I think she's getting big and what I think she's doing right that other people haven't as well. Because breaking into the pop world is notoriously hard, right? Even the people we see doing it today, like Sabrina Carpenter, sure, she's a pop girl, but she had to try for 10 years before she was now certified. Everybody's dressing up as her for Halloween. I'm going to be doing one of those next weekend. But it took time, right? Chappell Roan, it took time. Taylor Swift, she had to fake a country accent and then make the pivot once she was a country star to then go into pop, just because it's so hard to just try to throw your ring into the pop arena. Which, by the way, I always think, whatever, the fake country accent was so funny. But I do think that's a really interesting move to get popular in one genre and then switch to the next. So we're going to talk about all of that. And then, of course, end with her blind items because shockingly, she has 1.5 million blind items. All right, so let's get into her history. She was born October 6th in the year 2000. Somebody is definitely working really, really well on her Wikipedia page because I think most people would think that as Addison Rae is a TikToker, but instead she's framed on here as an American singer, songwriter, and actress. So she did get famous on TikTok. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but she is the 5th most followed person on TikTok. She has over 88 million followers. It's her, Charlie D'Amelio, some other guy who makes reaction videos. The actual app TikTok itself is less followed than Addison Rae is, which is pretty funny. So she was born and raised in Louisiana. Her parents are Monty Lopez, which we will be talking about him, and Sherry Easterling. She has 2 younger brothers and an older half sister. And it is interesting. Something that I'm noticing is that like these TikTok stars who are blowing up, the women only, when they blow up, their whole family blows up with them. You know, like you could see this with Addison Ray. She made a lot of content with her mom. Even I know that she has like 2 younger brothers. I think they might have done a reality show. I didn't even watch it, but like somehow I have this knowledge in my head. Charlie D'Amelio, I know that she has Dixie D'Amelio. Alex Earl, I know that she has Ashton Earl as her sister. And like I know a little bit of things about their family and that they have like young siblings too. But Bryce Hall, Lil Huddy, I feel so stupid saying these names, but like all of the male TikTokers, they don't really bring their family up in a way that the female TikTokers do. Just something, I don't know, just something that I've noticed. I don't know why. Anyway, her parents, Monty and Sherry, they initially got divorced when she was younger, and then they were kind of on and off throughout her childhood. They remarried in 2017, and just keep this in mind for a little bit later in the episode when we start talking about her family drama, because her dad is a little bit of a situation. So anyway, Addison Rae, she started dancing competitively at the age of 6. She attended competitions all across the country. In 2019, she graduated high school and she was going to go to Louisiana State University, LSU, to study broadcast journalism. But then, in order to save money on a meal and a dorm plan, her whole family was like, you know what? It makes sense for all of us to move to that area as well. So that way Addison can live at home while she's going to college. So it was around this time that Addison got into TikTok. And within just a few months on the app, she had already gained over 1 million followers. And she was doing a lot of dances on the app because TikTok initially, I feel like most people know this, but the original app was called Musical.ly. And it was all about lip syncing and doing dances and things like that. And then they changed the name to TikTok. And now it's like, you know, TikTok has changed a lot, right? Now I kind of feel like it's QVC, it's discourse, it's AI fusions of animals that I am obsessed with watching those videos. Those are really fun to me. Anyway, but it did start off as like the dancing app, the lip syncing app, etc. So that was the type of content that she was making. And my hot take, which we will get into later, is that I do think that being a dancer on TikTok is impressive. Like I do. I think it takes skill. I think it takes dedication. I think it takes a level of like confidence or putting yourself out there-ness that a lot of people don't have. And especially in this day and age where the word cringe is coming up so much and everybody's like scared to be cringe and do something cringe and blah, blah, blah. It's very interesting. I think I talked about this in a previous episode, but that mentality, I think, feels very like Gen Z and Gen Alpha to me, at least as a millennial. I remember we would have all of these school assemblies, and like a big talking point for millennials was this stupid exercise that I would hear and see all the time, where they would like draw a circle and they would be like, everything inside of this circle is your comfort zone. That's what's in here. And everything out of the circle are things outside of your comfort zone. And the only way you achieve, you know, skills or lessons or experience or anything valuable is by doing things that are all outside of your comfort circle. And that's what you need to be doing. And that was just something that was really instilled in me. And I think a lot of millennials, that was like a lesson that we were taught back in the day. And I think that's why it's so sad that I think so many younger people, they're like, oh my God, like that's cringe, that's awkward, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. Like when you're younger, like you think that everything's awkward and like you're embarrassed to like even have like your mom drop you off somewhere. But I think that's why when I see a younger person, you know, doing TikTok dances or something like that, it just means more to me because I know how, having been a young, awkward teenager, like I know how much you beat yourself up and you're so embarrassed to do stuff. So when I see these young kids like on the app, like making content or putting themselves out there, I just think that it's really brave, honestly. So anyway, Addison says about getting on TikTok, she said that she didn't even consider blowing up on the app when she got on there. She was like, we didn't even really know what it was or what it held or anything like that. But she knew that something was up when she got to LSU because during orientation week, people started recognizing her. She says they were like, oh my gosh, my sister follows you on TikTok. So soon after that, she explained and kind of decided that she was going to drop out of college and she had to move to LA to further her career. Now, of course, she had to convince her parents and her family because they had just up and moved the whole family down to her area for school. And she's like, just kidding. Like, I'm going to go to LA. So she says, after a while, my dad was like, you know what? Whatever. If you really believe that you're going to do this and you're going to make it work and you have a plan, do it. I believe in you. I trust you. So she moved to LA, and then pretty soon after, she realized that she needed her parents there. She asked them to move out, and within just a week, they joined her. She said, when we moved out here collectively as a family, that's when things really started skyrocketing. Now, she starts to get into music. So in March 2021, she puts out her debut single, Obsessed. And people liked it. They really liked it. I thought it was great, and I took a second and I said, me too. It's just like a fun, girly pop type of song. And Obsessed was going to be the lead single for her upcoming debut EP, but that was temporarily shelved. More on that later. Now we kind of enter like the throwing stuff at the wall to see if it sticks era, which I will talk a little bit about this. I'll talk a little bit about it now because basically in that same year, 2021, Addison Rae also launched her own cosmetics line. It was called Item Beauty. And then she also launched her own fragrance line, and it was called Addison Rae Fragrance. And I will say, even though my nose is so far up her ass, like I think she's so great, I do find that really annoying. Like when people, okay, I don't want to get saucy on here, but like, for example, on TikTok, I'm mutuals with a bunch of other people on TikTok, right? And when you're mutuals with each other, you get access to each other's friends only videos. And a lot of creators on the friends only videos are talking about like the TikToks they make or what they want to do for their career, how to gain subscribers or like things that have worked for them or like stuff like that. This is coming off. Anyway, and I've heard a lot of influencers and creators be like, should I start a podcast? Like, what do you think? Like, would you guys like that? Do you guys want this? Do you guys want that? Like, should I do this? Like, maybe I'll make merch. And something about that has just always felt frustrating and a little bit disingenuous to me because it's like, you should do stuff that you want to do, not just because there's a team of people behind you who look at the fact that you have 4 million followers and are thinking about how they can kind of wring the money and the click time and the watch time out of them. Like it should be something that you care a lot about, right? And I think the person who's the most notorious for doing this is Selena Gomez. So like in 1 year, right, she had like her music, then she was doing a Spanish album, then she was doing Only Murders in the Building, then she was doing a cooking channel, then she was doing Rare Beauty, then she was doing like nonprofit work, or she was like a UN ambassador. And then her documentary comes out because she's also doing a documentary. And then in her documentary, she says that she hates all of it and she doesn't know who she is. And it's like, well, this is just frustrating to all of us because how are you going to try and sell a product to everyone? Like, listen to my music is everything. Buy my perfume is everything. My lip gloss is everything to me. But like, come with me now to Uganda because Uganda is everything to me. And watch my documentary because my documentary is everything to me. But in my documentary, you're going to find out that all of this is nothing to me. And it's like, please. Anyway, so for Addison Rae, I get it. Like you're the 5th most followed person on TikTok. You want to make something with it, especially since so many people online only have like a 15 minutes to do anything with it online. My only question is like, aren't there things like focus groups? Like, for example, when Kylie Jenner, and we will get back to the point, but when Kylie Jenner puts out Kylie Swim or Kylie Baby and it like totally flops, which we will be talking about next week for an episode, why waste all of that money? Like, aren't you doing focus group testing? Like, I'm a fan of yours. I could tell you that nobody was going to buy Addison Rae's perfume. Or maybe they did. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, continuing with the theme of throwing everything at the wall to see if it sticks, she also that year starred in a Netflix comedy film called He's All That, which was like a remake of She's All That. It was the most streamed film on its release week, but it had all of these like negative reviews. Sure, the acting wasn't fantastic, but I liked the movie. And when I say I like the movie, I mean like it's a great movie to watch in bed on your period eating Annie's mac and cheese. And I think that's exactly how I watched it. And like, that's how you should watch it too. It's not going to win an Oscar, but it's like a fun movie. You know, I thought that it was fun. So then by the next year, February 2022, it was announced that Addison Rae had joined the cast of a film called Fashionista, and it's going to be produced by Paramount. That same month, there were a couple songs of hers that got leaked. So remember how she had shelved that initial like EP that she was going to do? Well, a few of the songs ended up leaking on YouTube. She says she doesn't know how, she doesn't know who did it, but that was like To Die For or like Nothing On But the Radio or little things like that. Certain singles got released on the internet. And she said at first this was going to mean, quote, like the death mark for her music career. She's like, this sucks. All of my songs got leaked. Kiss my music career goodbye. However, they started gaining a lot of traction online, and people were like, wait a minute, Addison Rae can sing. Like, this is real. It's been stuck in my head, this like little clip that I heard. I really, really want the full song. Like, when is she going to put these songs out? It just got really big, really fast. And I noticed that that is a little bit of a trend sometimes. Like, remember when Ariana Grande had that song? I don't know what it's called. Okay. But the lyric is like, I think about you all the time. I'd give that pussy to you 5 to 9, 9 to 5 or something like that. Maybe it's called 9 to 5, but I feel like it can't be. Anyway, and everybody loved that song, and they were like, Ariana, like, release it. And she said it ended up getting scrapped, and like it was something that was leaked, and she was honestly kind of upset that it leaked, but everybody loved it. And I do think it's kind of weird sometimes how in this day and age, I think you have to trick the public. Like, I just think that you do, because if an artist is on TikTok and Instagram and they're like, please, please listen to my new single, like, I'm begging you, stream it. Remember when Justin Bieber was like, you could put your laptop on mute and then you could press the repeat button and then just stream my song all day long, which is like so embarrassing to ask your fans to do that. Anyway, it makes people not want to stream it, but when it is leaked and it's like a little secret that we weren't supposed to find out, the general public like really, really wants it and obsesses over it. And I'm sure that is bad and nasty in some way, but I'm definitely guilty of doing that. Like, I love listening to unreleased stuff. So I don't know, maybe it's just the fact that like everybody wants to feel like they're kind of in on a secret. So then things start to really take off in March of 2024. And this is when Addison Rae is featured on Charlie XCX's remix of Von Dutch. And you might have seen, I'll insert the clip in here, the iconic moment where she improv'd in the studio and let out this beautiful pitch, kind of like scream song for the song. And it just sounded really cool. And everybody was like, damn, Addison Rae, like, does she have some sort of musical gift that we don't know about? She also then appears on other work with Charlie XCX, which we will get to very soon. But this is the section I like to call the Charlie bump, which I guess is like a little bit twofold, if you get what I mean. I didn't even realize until I said it out loud. Like, I meant like she got the Charlie bump because anyway, whatever, you get what I'm saying. Okay, so how did Charlie XCX from, the cool clubbing music, electronic dance scene get involved with Addison Rae, who was a TikToker, and her only kind of celebrity friend at that time was Kourtney Kardashian? Like, how did these worlds meet? So in our Charlie XCX public episode, if you want to check that out, we talked about how Charlie, like, yes, she makes her own songs, but she also works as like a producer or a co-writer. She works with a ton of other artists on all of their different songs. So she started working with Addison on her song To Die For. And this was really cute. This was from like a Vogue interview. They were interviewing Addison Rae, and they reached out to Charlie XCX to see if she could lend some kind of insight on her friendship with Addison Rae as a person and an artist. Quote, she recalls the first time they met in the studio as the ultimate example of opposites attract, with Charlie standing on a balcony chain smoking and having not brushed her hair for days, when Addison Rae arrived in her pink Tesla, bounding into the studio and declaring, "Ugh, boys are so stupid," adds Charlie. She was like no one had ever met, really. Not jaded, not faking, not uncomfortable, not trying to be anything other than herself. And I think that's a really good point. Not jaded. You don't see jaded at all in Addison Rae. So they connected through mutual friends in the music industry, and apparently Charlie had like a lot of admiration for Addison boldly entering into the music scene despite having this background of being like a TikTok star. So in a 2021 interview, Charlie said, quote, "I think it's cool that Addison is stepping into music. It's not an easy industry to break into, and I think she's done well carving out her own space." And then Addison said about Charlie, quote, "Charlie's music has been a huge inspiration for me. To get her guidance and to collaborate is just a dream come true." So they started working together in 2021 on Addison's debut singles. 2022, it's like a little bit more public that they're collaborating on stuff. They're sharing clips of their times in the studio on social media, different rumors that like Charlie's going to help Addison Rae find her sound. And then by 2023, they're full-fledged friends. They're going out. They're being seen at events and parties and things like that. Now, what is interesting, kind of like a little sleeper thing that I did not know about Addison Rae, is that apparently she has really, really good music taste. So this is another Clip from Charlie. If I ever get married, I would definitely ask Addison Rae to be my wedding DJ. And for Charlie XCX to say that about someone, it's very interesting. The person who wrote this Vogue interview article, they continue and they say, it was this that I was probably most curious to ask Rae about. It wasn't just the leaks that piqued the interest of the online pop sleuths who begged for her return, but the unexpectedly eclectic music taste that fans have noticed via her Spotify. Scroll through her playlist and you'll find FKA Twigs, Eve Toomer, and Kalila. I don't know who these people, I know who FKA is, but that's it. Sprinkled among hundreds of tracks that span recent avant-garde hip-hop to the cream of the early 2000s Timbaland-produced R&B. I mention this only because it's hard to picture, say, Charlie D'Amelio listening to Aphex Twin in her downtime. All right, now look, like I'm like a pop girl. I don't know who a lot of these people are, but I remember that going around on the internet back in the day where people found Addison Rae's Spotify and they were like, damn, these playlists are really good. Like, I didn't think that Addison Rae would have this type of music taste. So things really popped up recently in August of 2024. And this is when she released her first major label single, Diet Pepsi, through Columbia Records. And Diet Pepsi was just like, it's just such a dreamy little song. And she recently, as of like a couple days ago, released her next new single, Aquamarine. And it's also fab. I mean, she's just putting out absolute bangers. The music's really good, and I'm just excited for more. Okay, so let's get a little bit into her dating history. So when she was back on TikTok in the day, she was dating Bryce Hall. And if you don't know who Bryce Hall is, I am like so happy for you. It's like embarrassing that like I knew who these people were. Like I don't want to talk about it, but okay. Back in 2020, there were these like young TikTok stars who were like the celebrities of TikTok, and they were the best at dancing. And Addison Rae was dating Bryce Hall, and he would also do like, you know, dancing, lip sync video, stuff like that. And then Charlie D'Amelio was dating Lil Huddy or Chase Huddy or whoever he's called. And whatever, they were like TikTok's it couples, and everybody would talk about them and want them to do dancing videos together. It sounds so stupid, but at the time they were really like TikTok royalty. So they had this very public, like on again, off again relationship from late 2019 to early 2021. Apparently they met through mutual friends. A lot of people were speculating, you know, like, will they, won't they, et cetera, et cetera. And the only reason why I'm like a little bit suspicious of this is because it just works so well that if you are dating someone or there's a little bit of drama or something that people might be able to find with clues in your videos, that is going to do so well for you. I remember Jake Paul talking pretty candidly about this by saying like, if people think that I am dating someone, my videos perform like 4 times better. And you could see it back in the day when he was with Alyssa Violet, like having her in his thumbnail or a hint about like his ex-girlfriend or a girlfriend or something like that. The videos would pop off in an unbelievable way. And I'm sure Jake Paul isn't the only one who figured out that dating and collabing with another popular influencer does well. So I don't know if they were like dating for real, but people said so. They nicknamed them Bradison. They followed a lot of their posts and interactions online. They confirmed their relationship in late 2020. And then they officially split in March 2021, with Addison confirming on social media that they were no longer together. There were, of course, cheating allegations. I mean, I'm pretty sure Bryce Hall sucks donkey dick. Like, he's just not that great of a guy. But there were a lot of rumors that, like, he went on a trip to Las Vegas and he was unfaithful during that trip. They were talking about it on podcasts and things like that. And then there was also a very cryptic tweet when Addison tweeted, "Disappointed, but not surprised." So who knows? Maybe they were dating. But then again, I thought that Jake Paul and Alyssa Violet were dating. And it turns out that they were kind of just hooking up. And then that makes me feel so weird because I view all of these people as like so young. And the idea that people could just be like out there fucking. I don't know. Like, it's just weird to me being like all grown up. Like, Jake Paul was like on the Disney show or Disney Channel show, but then also being like a total fuckboy to people. It's like Disney Channel, fuckboy. Like, my mind's trying to put it together. But then again, if you did watch our recent Dylan Sprouse and our old Cole Sprouse episodes, I don't know, maybe it's just par for the course. Actually, maybe being on Disney turns you into an asshole or something at this point. Now, who is Addison Rae dating now? People have seen her with Omer Fedi. He is like some sort of music producer. I think he's probably really well to do in the music world. I don't know that much about him. I found out about him because Addison Rae started dating him. And when she first started dating him, he had like bright red hair. And a lot of people were like, who is this like gross guy that she's dating? People are such raging assholes online. I mean, I say that as if I'm not. But when it comes to looks, like the way that people give Benny Blanco such shit for just having the face that he has and then dating Selena Gomez or Omer with Addison, they're like, ew, like he's homeless, like get away from her. And it's always coming from the same people online who are like, I am so like open-minded and like progressive and like I'm so much better than like the boomer generation. And then they turn around and say that someone's like ugly because they like look homeless and they're dressing poorly. It's like, okay, well, you do you. So anyway, in August of 2021, there were rumors of their relationship starting because they were spotted around LA. They became Instagram official later that month when she posted a story with Omer in it, captioning it with a heart emoji. So then in October 2021, he supported her at a few red carpet events. He was very vocal about her new song, Obsessed, that she had worked, quote, so hard on it and that he was really excited about it. So then 2022, 2023, they're still appearing together in public at events. Are they still together? I don't know. I saw a photo of them from apparently a few months ago, and they were like walking together. They were seen in her car. His hair isn't red anymore, so it kind of took me by surprise. I was like, who is this man? But it was him. He just dyed his hair, I guess. And people are saying that they're still together, but there's also a lot of articles saying, quote, we think it's safe to say that they are very much still together and very much still in love. You guys know, if you follow me over on Instagram, anytime I see the phrase very much in love, it's such a dead obvious ringer for PR. A publicist wrote this, somebody threw this slop together because nobody ever, like, I have never looked at any of my friends and been like, they are very much in love. They're very much in love. Honestly, like pause this podcast right now. This is a fun thing I like to do from time to time. I'm actually going to do it live right now and go into Google and do the quotation marks and then write very much in love, end quotations, go over to the news tab. Here we go. Robert Pattinson and Suki Waterhouse are in love and happy. Quote, they're very much in love and happy, and quote, great parents to their baby daughter. Inside Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet's very cuddly. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, quote, looked very much in love at their pizzeria dinner. Here's one from the New York Post. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry look, quote, very much in love, says her Suits co-star Wendell Pierce. Blah, 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 very much in love. Joe Manganiello and Caitlin O'Connor are very much in love. If you base it, it's just the go-to phrase that everybody uses. And I'm not saying that, like, if there's an article saying that these two people are very much in love, like, oh my God, it's fake. It's a total lie. They're actually gay or a beard or something like that. What I mean is, it's just obvious that a publicist wrote this. Maybe it was paid for, maybe it's somebody pulling something out of their ass, but it's just publicity. Now, anyway, what do we know about Omer? Some online comments, just because I don't know that much about him. People were saying, I'm pretty sure that he produced some of SZA's last album. People said that he also might have produced parts of Brat. This was interesting too. Someone said, Omer used to date Luna Montana, and I remember her saying it was a very toxic relationship. I think she deleted the video though once he started dating Addison. Based on her video though, it seemed like he would tell her to change her hair, body, etc. I wonder why Addison would be with a guy like that. Maybe because he produced some of SZA's last album and other parts of Brat. But I don't know. I haven't really heard anything. Like, they've been dating for a while. I think if he was a shitty guy, it would have come out by now. You know what I mean? And I do not know who Luna Montana is. Okay, before we get into her family drama, let's talk a little bit about why I think she's going to be such a big pop star. Like, why I think she has the it factor, why I think she's going to make it. Number one, this is a theory that I've come up with on my own. She doesn't have the Madison Beer effect. And I feel bad saying that because I think Madison Beer, obviously a beautiful woman. I think she has a lovely voice. I like a lot of her songs. But I did this TikTok video about Madison Beer that unfortunately did reach her. I now try to block people before I make videos about them. Anyway, where I was saying that the reason why I personally think she hasn't popped off into a huge pop star is that she doesn't ever let herself be ugly. So I went through and I pulled up like the Olivia Rodrigo Good For You music video, such a good music video, and pressing the pause button at random points. Olivia might be like scream singing with her face like this, or maybe like, and her eyes are bulging out, or maybe like singing like this or that. Like she's getting into the music. Every single one of Madison Beer's videos, and you could do this at home. I'm giving you 2 pieces of homework now for this episode. Watch one of her music videos and press the pause button in between. No matter how you catch her, she's perfect all the time. Fox-eyed, you know what I mean? And it's not that like I'm some sort of woman-hating woman who hates beautiful women. I mean, like, of course, there's, I think, feelings of like jealousy and envy, I'm sure, that are associated with that. But the thing is, like, there are beautiful pop stars. So it's not like, oh my God, Madison Beer is this special type of beautiful, like, where that's why she's not making it. Her beauty's holding her back. Please, Beyonce is beautiful. Taylor Swift is beautiful. Ariana Grande is beautiful. Like, that's not it. People like to say that's it, but it's not that. It's because there's the fear of looking ugly. And looking ugly is like the fear of letting go and just letting your emotions boil all over and like being like, I'm crazy about this or like that or this, or like I'm going to be like goofy or wacky or like a little bit sloppy or authentic or real. And I think Madison Beer is just a little bit too buttoned up and polished and perfect. And I do think she's made an effort recently to try to like combat that by maybe wearing like acne stickers or like wearing glasses and stuff like that. She still looks like the most beautiful person with like stickers or glasses on, because it's not about the pure physical aesthetics. It's about the vibe. It's about letting go. It's about being weird. It's about letting your pooch hang out a little bit. It's about, you know what I mean? And Addison Rae, I think, is doing the opposite of the Madison Beer effect really well. Like in the Diet Pepsi music video, she's doing silly stuff. She's being a little bit funky. She's putting her toes into stuff. She's like rolling her body in one way where it looks sexy and then in another way where it looks weird, but it all comes together and it's giving confident. It's giving unique. It's giving something fresh. Even when she wore, the outfit that I'm trying to cosplay here on YouTube at the VMAs, where she wore this like white tutu and this like weird kind of bra where like it was like a 3D bra, like her boobs were in it, but then it was like puffed out, or like the cone bra that she wears. It's all of these things that are like a little bit weird, but she doesn't care. And that leads me to another point that I made once. I feel like I'm going off topic here, but it'll all come together. Just trust in me. An old blog post that I wrote about where I basically said that self-confidence is the sexiest thing ever. And why I think that like Austin Powers to me is so sexy, because even though he's stupid and goofy and a really hairy character, he's just so like self-confident about himself. Whereas in Crazy Stupid Love, Ryan Gosling's character, right? He has abs that look like they're photoshopped. He has a perfect house, a perfect life, but he's not giving, he looks sexy, but he's not raw sex. He's not confidence, because I like to think, what would you do if something bad happened, right? Like, let's say you're at your friend's wedding and you're giving a speech, you're a guy, and halfway through your voice cracks like that. Ryan Gosling's character would probably try to like pretend it didn't happen and just move past. Whereas Austin Power would be like, damn, like my voice cracked, but it's just because I'm so flustered looking at everyone here. It'll crack again when I look at you. My God, you're beautiful. He steers into the skid. You know what I mean? He's not afraid to get messy and down with it because he's so self-confident. And I think using that same example, if like Madison Beer was walking the red carpet and she tripped, she would probably like try to pretend that she didn't trip and like block people who like posted videos of her tripping. Whereas if Addison Rae was walking a red carpet and she tripped, she would probably be like, oh, I'm going to do it again, like just for fun. Like I can laugh at myself. Like maybe I'll pretend to do it another time. Maybe I'll work it into my music video, like really embracing the messiness. And I just think it gives self-confidence, authenticity. I just love it. So anyway, that was a little bit of a ramble, but that's one of the reasons why I think that she's going to be big. She doesn't have the Madison Beer effect. Now, another piece from this Vogue interview that I would co-sign on, they say, Addison Rae's success also comes down to that kind of effervescent charm and charisma you can't manufacture. Manufacture. The kind that radiates even through a computer screen where I sit some 5,000 miles away. But while that played one part in her stratospheric rise, the other part was simply hard work. And then another Vogue snippet that I found very interesting. They were asking her, like, where do you get this eagerness to learn about music and consume music from all of these different types of genres? And she said, quote, I think I'm just a really curious person. When I start doing something, I want to know everything there is to know about it. I've been learning so much about new sounds and new producers over the past few years, but I always want to know what else is there? Where does the inspiration for this come from? And as a fellow very curious girl, I fucking love this. I think curiosity gets you everywhere and it gets you into trouble. But curiosity is like how you learn things, how you discover things, how you learn more about people. Curiosity, like if I had to pick only one trait to give to like a future child of mine to make them successful in this world, it would be curiosity. I think that would be the number one thing. I fucking love it. And then this also, because I was curious about her, it made me want to look up her birth chart. She has a very nice chart. Her big three are Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Some of my favorite signs, right? The air signs, the curiosity, the multitasking. Like you just kind of see that in her there. Okay, another thing too, and this is like small. I don't think like this is why she's so big, but I think it's a little bit of icing on the cake and it's something that's interested me. Her name, okay? What's in a name? Everything's in a name, right? Look at some of the top girls right now in pop. Charlie XCX, Chapel, Sabrina, Addison, Tate, even Olivia, like Olivia Rodrigo. I don't know many girls with the name Tate or Sabrina or Addison or Chapel. You know, it's not like there's a bunch of pop girls right now named Julia or Kate or Anne or Ashley. And I just think that a name does kind of matter when you're going to be famous. And, you know, especially too, if you're going to be internet famous, like, I don't know if you remember, this is a deep cut, but Asina O'Neil, I used to be vegan back in the day and there were like all of these vegan influencers and YouTubers and like, it could be an entire mini episode in itself one day because man, there was drama in like the online vegan community. But you might remember Asina O'Neil because she was like this beautiful Australian vegan girl and she ended up quitting social media, like this tearful video of like social media is fake and like I cannot handle it anymore. Like this is not a real life to be living, like blah, 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 blah. And then it made some waves, like news people picked it up, like Asina, social media star, quits, blah, blah, blah. And Asina was, I love her for like so many reasons, but I always thought her name is so cool because if you want a hashtag on Tumblr or Instagram or something and you just type in Asina, it's a unique enough name, she's probably going to come up. Same with Chapel, same with Sabrina. And of course, there's the people who are so big that their name is now the name, like Adele or Beyonce, or sometimes the one person who was able to take a relatively common name and make it into a household one-person name, Ellen, right? But I just think if you have a little bit of a unique name, it kind of sticks out to people. This is similar to the theory that people say that when you get famous, you need to have some sort of unique hairstyle as well. Which, once again, you look at the current pop girls, Charlie with the cool name and with the Bellatrix Lestrange type of hair, Chapel with the cool name and the big curly red waves, you know, Sabrina with the cool name and the, you know, pinup girl type of bouncy blonde hair, Tate with the name and the long hair and like the jersey. Like it's all about the branding. And the last reason why I think she's gotten so big and she's going to continue to get big is because she has the Charlie bump. I'm just going to like laugh every time I say it now, but the Charlie bump. And I think it was a little bit mutually beneficial. I think Addison being around Charlie, you know, introduced Gen Z to Charlie XCX in a way, even just those social media clips online. And then obviously Charlie's introduced. I would say Addison's a little bit more helped by it, but I don't know, call me crazy, but 88 million followers on TikTok is not nothing. I would say it was pretty mutual. Okay, so before we talk about her blind items, let's just do a little bit of her family drama because this is, you know, it's not nothing. So here is a blind item that kind of talks about what we're going to talk about. This barely there celebrity, Renee Ash, who exposed an affair she was having with a married TikTok star, Addison Rae's father, Monty Lopez. only exposed the affair because the man she was sleeping with wouldn't leave his wife for her. Now that his wife has left him, she thought for sure that he would want to continue to see her, but he didn't. So what happened, right? The last we left off with Addison Rae and her family, they had moved out to LA and she was super successful. Well, her dad, Monty Lopez, apparently was really enjoying the LA lifestyle, okay? He was like going out to clubs, hitting on girls. I'm sure Addison was like massively embarrassed by it, but we're going to get into this specific affair. So Renee Ash, she came out. She said that things have been a nightmare. This was a couple years ago after her affair with Monty Lopez was exposed last week. She herself is a social media influencer, and she said that her and Monty started hanging out as friends and then ended up falling in love. She said, which I think is such a read, quote, "I don't go for looks. I'm a personality person. This one was like very questionable for me." So she said that he had kind of conned her into the affair because he said that his marriage to Addison Rae's mother, Sherry, was over and that he wanted to start a new family. And I think that is something that, like, anytime we hear about this, like, for example, the big scandal with Adam Levine cheating on his wife, Beate, with that girl Sumner, and she came out and was like, he was cheating on his wife, like, blah, blah, blah. He's been sending me this. Everyone gets so, like, when are we going to stop? Everyone gets so mad at the girl. And they're like, she should have known. She should have known. What? You think that the married guy was telling the truth to her? Like, my God. Like, I just find it so wild how people, like, they just don't understand how it works. But anyway, I could also see her kind of getting duped into this because it seems like Addison Rae's childhood, her parents had been on again, off again. They had actually gotten divorced before and then remarried. So I'm sure that he spun this girl, what was her name? Renee. I'm sure Monty spun Renee this whole story about how, like, we're only together for the looks with Addison and the show, but like you could see right here, like this is the filing of when we got divorced, like it's not real, like blah, 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 whatever. So she spoke to the Daily Mail, Renee, and she said that Monty started out protective over her in the relationship, and then it turned into very overbearing. She said that he laid out jealous rules about her talking to other men that he didn't uphold himself with other women, which is always so classic. Like, a guy who cheats on you is going to be the first person to be like, I do not condone cheating. I would be like completely against it. It's my absolute deal breaker. The people like that literally are always the ones who are cheating, which is crazy. She continues, "He was doing a lot of stuff behind my back that he was telling me not to do." And then she said that post finding out that he was married, she was not in contact with Addison Rae or her family, but that she would be open to speaking with them. Now, news of this affair kind of blew up on the internet, and Addison Rae's mom, Sherry, changed her Instagram bio to read single mom. And she sent out a tweet reading, "That old version of you isn't for you. New story, new version." Renee said that Monty had continually been trying to get in touch with her since the affair broke. Quote, "He's been calling me, I'm not answering, and I'm the one getting death threats. How ironic is that?" Asked if she had any regrets about the affair, she responded in absolute terms, "I regret spending any second with him." So apparently she broke up with him because A, he turned out to be married, and also B, not only was he having an affair, but he was cheating on his affair partner with tons of people. There were all of these accusations that he was hitting on all of these women in different bars, incidents caught on camera. There were clips circulating TikTok of him like grabbing a woman from behind and whispering in her ear. There was another woman in a clip saying, "Addison Rae's dad is trying to fuck me, I swear to God." And then she showed the scene. There was another video with a young woman speaking to someone over the phone who was like, FaceTime me, and the voice is very similar to Monty's. So it sounds like he moved to LA and he was just slinging it around town, to be honest, trying to use his fame of like, I'm Addison Rae's dad, and like getting with all of these women. So yeah, then Addison Rae and her mom unfollowed Monty on social media. He still has them listed as his family in his bio. Her mom took to Instagram to say that she's doing okay. Her biggest concern is the effect that this will have on her children. And yeah, it's very interesting that so many people's famous, like people who are famous, their parents usually end up doing something embarrassing to them, you know, like very publicly. I will never forget when those new photos of Justin Bieber in Hawaii came out, and you could see his, cash and prizes, basically the front and the back. And everybody was talking about it. And his dad, I think Justin was, 22 at the time. His dad was 41. His dad took to Twitter to write "my boy" along with a cactus emoji. And he didn't stop there. He did not stop there. He then took a selfie of him next to a tower, and he tagged Justin as the tower because like his penis was so big it was like a tower, And then he would take pictures of like different like landmarks that were like phallic shaped and just like tag Justin Bieber in it. And then he also then went to Twitter and he said, @Justin Bieber, what do you feed that thing? #proud daddy. And also, not only is that like gross to do, like you're like, that's your child. Like, what in the fuck are you doing? But the second thing that's bad about it, and I will be honest here, is that his dad kept, okay, I'm just going to be honest. I am a flawed human. Okay. I am not a good person. Okay. His dad was tweeting about it so much that it made me go and look up the real thing because his dad was like, saying it looked like all of these towers and stuff. And I was like, damn, is there something like, is this like something astronomical? And then I went and looked it up. And you know what? I probably wouldn't have done that if Justin Bieber's dad wasn't tweeting about it. It's not his fault. It's my fault. I shouldn't have done that. But I did it because of like the dad freaking out about it. Anyway, I'm trying to think of other people too. Like we did a Stranger Things public episode and Millie Bobby Brown's parents are allegedly like pretty awful. So what did Sherry, Addison Rae's mom, do in response to this? Well, we have another blind item. No, the mother of the TikTok star turned actress is not pregnant with the baby of the saucy rapper. And that is because there were rumors that she was dating Young Gravy. Young Gravy, by the way, he's like a rapper. He had that song. Honestly, I forget it. But wasn't it like a "Never Gonna Give You Up"? And it was like some sort of parody of that. And I think he's done other things too. Anyway, his whole thing was that like he was into MILFs. So when everything happened with Monty and Sherry breaking up, Young Gravy decided to slide in because he had a reputation of being into MILFs. And people have now said, quote, Sherry was with Young Gravy for publicity. It was an attention grabber. Both she and Young Gravy loved the attention, but it was a brief romance that ended long before it became serious. Saying that Addison Rae's mom is, quote, very single. She isn't dating anyone seriously right now. This was honestly kind of funny. Young Gravy, like... He took Addison Rae's mom as his date to the 2022 MTV Music Video Awards in August, and they were like being asked about their relationship on the carpet in an interview, and he said, quote, I'm into MILFs, and she's kind of the queen of MILFs, so I figured it was just the perfect match. We met online and we connected right away. I'm from the furthest north it gets, and she's from the furthest south it gets. Oh, that's how it works. Anyway, I thought this was pretty funny. I think the whole internet knew that it was kind of a joke. And if her dad is going to be, truly throwing the cat all around LA and other places, it seemed, I think it's really funny to like go ahead and like stir up some sauce with Young Gravy. Now, what did Monty do about this? He took to social media to say, quote, unbothered. Which, by the way, has anyone ever gone on social media, typed the word unbothered and been truly unbothered about it? Like, please. If you go on social media and you write the word unbothered, you are bothered to the 10th degree. You are bothered times 5, Okay. So he said, quote, unbothered. Thank you, @Young Gravy, for taking the leftovers. I would rather spend time with my daughter and 2 grandkids that Sherry Nicole made me abandon as a child in order to be with her. Never let a woman make you choose between her and or your blood child. He sounds like a whole fucking mess. I cannot even imagine the level of disrespect. Like, you've been betraying your family. You've been betraying your wife, you've been cheating on her, and then you've also been betraying your daughter by using, clout leeching off of her to cheat on her mother with all of these girls because of her fame. And then to say, for taking the leftovers, you've had children with that person. Like, oh my God, are you evil? Like, ugh. This was another blind item related to the family. I don't think it's true, but Apparently, the longtime affair between the mother of an A-plus list TikTok star and the married TikTok executive has ended. Why did all of you think that she became such a star compared to others? So that's alleging that like Sherry was hooking up with someone at TikTok. We do know that TikTok can push people to the front. I think it was revealed that they did that with Alex Earl. And apparently now they are only like pushing people on the algorithm who are like hot. Apparently, like if you're good looking, the algorithm will push you more now. That's like one of the new changes they made to it, which is sickening. But I don't know. There's always blind items like that. Now, she did do a lot of stuff with her mom. Like her mom would be in some of her dancing videos. And they also started a podcast. It was called Mama Knows Best. And they did it with Spotify. It was a weekly podcast where her and her mom provide an intimate and authentic look into their lives and their relationship. And then they kind of stopped it. And then they rebranded it. They called it That Was Fun with Addison and Sherry. I don't think it's around anymore, but I'm just so, and I'm really curious because like I'm so fucking sick of like everyone who gets famous being like, let me also like have a podcast now, because it's like you have enough. Like you have 88 million followers on TikTok, you know, and like now you want all of this. I find it like really annoying when celebrities like start podcasts for that reason as well. And I'm curious for people who like work in the makeup space, you must get frustrated in the same way that I do with podcasts when all of these people are launching like fragrances and eyeshadow palettes and lip liners and mascara and all of this stuff. And it's like, great, now everybody's going to buy it because some sort of like, you know, Charlie D'Amelio's name is attached to it. And my stuff is like never going to get seen by people. I will say that bothers me. Okay, let's wrap up with some of her blind items. Have you noticed, by the way, that more people are working blind items into stuff? I don't know if you guys watch Sloan on YouTube. He's now doing blind items in his YouTube videos, which is so interesting. He came on the podcast a while back because, okay, whatever. This will be quick. We're already like 50 minutes in. So if you're like a real one, you're listening. Dude, Sloan back in the day literally ripped off an entire blog post that I wrote about Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. And, like 3 paragraphs, like word for word, no credit, read all of my words, all of my thoughts as his in his own script for his YouTube video, which now if you watch his YouTube videos, that's just what he does. He just like rips other people's content and reads it. But it was kind of funny because obviously I say things that are very not like politically correct. So he ripped off my blog post, just used it for his video, my entire, without any credit, obviously, just pretending that my words and thoughts were his. But then it was all about Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez like doing drugs back in the day. So all of their fan bases like started attacking him and stuff like that. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of slay. That's kind of karma happening IRL, you know? You stole my stuff, but everyone hated my stuff. So now they're mad at you because you said it. Anyway, and now he's doing blind items. It all circles back around. Okay, let's get into this one. This first one was ridiculous. My jaw dropped open and I was like, I do not believe this at all. But it was the very first blind item that I found when I was looking this up. And it just made me giggle. So I was like, even though I don't believe in it, I have to say it because it's funny. Okay, the title of it, is called Bigger. Okay. This social media influencer is probably B+ list. She gets lost in the shuffle of so many, and even with an unusual name, she just doesn't get much traction. So I don't know if that would be Addison Ray, but maybe. She has dated some fairly big names and is known for being open to just about anything, especially if the star is big enough to give her career a boost. One of the things she is most well known for is using a strap-on. It is the reason that her latest boyfriend started going out with her. It took him a while to tell her what he liked, but she was totally on board. Plus, he was taking her everywhere and her picture was getting posted everywhere online. So they do it, and afterwards he tells her that she should get a bigger one for next time. Duly noted, she does, and a couple days later they do it again, and he tells her that he wants her to go even bigger. This time she questions her foreign-born A- list boyfriend about just how big he wants her to buy. She had to special order it because the store she went to didn't have one that big. Okay, first of all, every store has one that big, so I don't think this blind item could be real. Like every single sex store I've ever gone into, oh my God, the craziest dildos I ever saw was when I went to the furry convention, but like they're big enough. They're big enough in there. Having to special order one that just means it's not true. Secondly, I don't know if this is Addison Ray because I don't think she would be a B+ list social media influencer, but sometimes the people who write these like don't really know what's what. I think this is funny. It made me giggle. I don't think that it's true, but I think there's kind of a lesson in it, isn't it? You know, this blind item is kind of a little bit like the Princess and the Pea fable mixed with Goldilocks, you know? This strap is too big. This strap is, no, this strap is too tiny. This strap is too medium. I'm looking for one that's just huge. Have you tried Justin Bieber's penis and or any of the landmarks that his dad has posted online? Maybe that would be big enough. Okay, the next one. This former A+ list social media star turned failed actress really needs to work on the whole staged pap thing. It is supposed to look natural and unplanned. Fake reading the book by Britney Spears while standing out in the street was just horribly done. And there's a paparazzi picture, I'll put it up here on YouTube, of Addison Rae, like getting photographed, leaving, I don't know, walking down the street, and she's like reading Britney Spears' book. And everybody was like, please, like you're trying to have all the Britney Spears comparisons and make people think that you guys are very similar. But like, first of all, nobody just like goes out reading a book, and you definitely called the paparazzi on yourself. Now, she actually spoke about this in an interview that I was reading, and she was like, she's like, the reason why I get paparazzied so much is because I just go to places where you would be seen. Like, I don't go to secret places. Like, I go to where the people will be because like I know that I'll get photographed there. And then she also said that she was in fact for real reading the Britney Spears book, and that was not fake. Okay, if you say so, Addison, but like I don't know. Like, once again, I'll have the picture on the screen. Like it definitely seemed a little bit planned. Okay. Golden Globes blind item. At a different pre-party than the one mentioned in the previous two blinds, this former A+ list social media star was flat out annoying as she kept trying to make content and become relevant again. Yeah, there were like photos of her at some party at Chateau Marmont, and she was like posing and like taking pictures on her camera and stuff like that. I mean, I'll say, sure, maybe that's annoying to other people there, but I'll also say like, that's how you got the career, baby. You know, you got to be a little bit annoying in public. Blind item, that's not really a blind item. It's just kind of somebody's take. It says, speaking of bad singers, this former A-list social media star can't actually sing at all, so the new career is odd. I will say this, I don't know if she can sing. Like, I haven't heard like Addison Rae stripped down, Addison Rae acoustic. When she came out for the Charlie XCX tour, the Sweat tour, I think like she came out and Charlie and Troye Sivan like helped sing with her and stuff like that. I don't know if she super has the vocal chops, but it does kind of seem to be a thing. You know what? It's, this is interesting, but people who can't sing sometimes make the best music. Selena Gomez, Paris Hilton, like these are boppity bops that I will boppity beep to like all the time. And now that I'm thinking about it, there are a lot of similarities between Addison Rae and Selena Gomez, you know, very close relationship with your mother, lived down south, then moved out to Hollywood, tried to throw a bunch of the stuff at the wall to see if it would stick, maybe can't sing that well, and yet everything that they put out are bops that are probably auto-tuned, but damn, is it a bop, you know? I'm just seeing some similarities there. More than I am with the Britney Spears one, but whatever. Okay, and then we get into like, there are 1.5 million, almost every blind item you read about anyone now is like, this star is yachting and she is selling her holes to men for money. And like, that's just kind of like a narrative. I'm sure it happens with some people, like, my God, for sure. It happens with regular people. I'm sure it happens with celebrities too. But this blind item in particular made me kind of raise my eyebrows because it said, this former A+ list social media star turned actress singer is crazy in debt to people who are trying to make her career happen. By next summer, she will either be working a real job or yachting. I do believe that she has a lot of people that she pays to help her career be so shiny, right? Like the music videos are great. The tracks are really fantastic. She looks great on the red carpet. Like it takes a bunch of people to put all of that together. That being said, I just do not believe that she is crazy in debt. And some people online were saying that she could be because apparently she's bought like a few luxury cars and things like that. But when she's the 5th most followed person on TikTok, and she doesn't even post on TikTok that rarely now. Like if she was hurting for money, she would be doing like a TikTok every day maybe. If she gets one brand deal on Instagram or TikTok, like she's set for like the next half of the year, or at least I would be. Maybe stars spend, an egregious amount of money that I really can't comprehend, but like having 88 million, being the 5th most followed person on TikTok is unreal. Like we all know how much money Alex Earl makes. Alex Earl isn't even in the top like 50 of like people followed on TikTok. Addison Rae is like massive. There were some blind items about her He's All That movie, and we talked about that a little bit. This was interesting too. I'm kind of curious about this. People said people were upset that Addison Rae was in the Netflix movie He's All That because they were upset that she had stolen a spot from another hardworking actor who had gone to school for the trade rather than working their way up from TikTok. And I think I agree partly with that, right? Like, if you don't have talent and you stole a spot from someone, right, but you're putting out banger finished products, I'm kind of okay with it, right? So like Selena Gomez, you can't sing, but like Good For You, Can't Keep My Hands to Myself, Bad Liar, like these are bops that I'm bopping to. Addison Rae, maybe you can't sing, but you're putting out like really good music. Now, if you are unknown and you put out bangers, that's even better, right? I feel like that's where we get the Chappell Roan people. That's where we got like Jennifer Lawrence when she first started out. And I think what's annoying is when you don't deserve it and you then don't put out good finished products. So I think we saw that with who was it? Some supermodel's daughter was like walking in the Victoria's Secret runway and just like did not do a good job with it. Like when Kendall Jenner, don't even get me started about Kendall Jenner again, but like when she was getting booked for all of these gigs and like she had a horrible runway walk. Photography book, or he's getting a spot on Vogue where like Vogue comes into his kitchen. I shit you not. This was a real, This was a real YouTube video. They were like, oh, like Brooklyn Beckham is like really into cooking. Come with us. He's going to teach us. Oh, we're going to go into his kitchen. What meal is he going to make? He's getting a fucking spot on Vogue's YouTube channel. Do you want to know what he made? He made a grilled cheese sandwich. A grilled cheese sandwich. That's like 3 ingredients. Butter in the pan, bread on the pan, cheese, more bread, more butter, actually mayonnaise if you want to get it really crispy. Anyway, and then you flip it and then you're done. And it was like he made a grilled cheese. And I was like, I'm going to, I was just going to say that I was going to shoot up the Vogue channel. I can't say stuff like that. I wasn't mad. I was just disappointed. I was just very disappointed. Like, how stupid is that? At least it was so stupid that it was kind of funny, but still. Anyway, so I understand like it's annoying that Addison Rae was in that movie. It wasn't the best movie, but to me, it was like a shitty Hallmark movie, and we don't get mad about the Hallmark actors and actresses. So like, whatever. A blind item about the paparazzi being called. Most celebrities only call one pap. This former TikTok star turned actress is making them mad because she calls 4 or 5, which drives down the already low rate that her picture brings. A blind item about her being coked to the gills at an after party. Another blind item here. This former A+ list TikTok star who has tried to become an actress is having problems turning her popularity into conversions. A series of flops have businesses shying away from her. She just can't deliver. Aha, see? That's why it's so bad to throw too much stuff at the wall if none of it is sticking. I just will say this, like this was basically related to how her Item Beauty line was flopping. So she launched it. And by the way, they said they were like, Item Beauty is her clean and science-backed cosmetic brand. And I'm like, well, that's crazy because like I'm not the target audience, okay? I know how old I am. But like I heard a little bit about Item Beauty and I never once heard it marketed as a clean skin or makeup line or a science-backed makeup line. I don't even know what the fuck a science-backed cosmetic brand would be. Like that just sounds like, first of all, A, it sounds like mumbo jumbo, and B, it just never was really marketed that way. Otherwise, I feel like I would have heard about it. So anyway, they signed on for an exclusive partnership with Sephora, and within a year, they pulled the plug on the beauty label because it just dropped and failed. And I will just say this, like if celebrities or anyone of stature, stop making crap makeup. There is enough makeup in the world until we die. Just leave it to the makeup companies who know what they're doing. Like we don't need another shitty ass makeup company of all this like junk in the world. I will say the only gap I see in the makeup marketplace is like, what's the name of it? Like Westman Atelier or something, or Jones Road Beauty or Glossier for people like me who have awful, dry, dehydrated, mature skin. And all we really want, and nobody makes it, is something that is a moisturizer mixed with sunscreen, mixed with a tint, and you can just put it on. And I know people say, oh, there's like BB creams. No, because the BB creams never have SPF that's high enough, And then the tinted sunscreen is never moisturizing enough. Anyway, I'm getting off track. We'll go back to the blind items. This was an interesting one that Taylor Swift popped up in. It said, speaking of the A-plus list singer, you can bet she will make sure that the A-list TikTok star will never see the inside of any of her parties again. And this came out when there was an article basically saying that there is this new movie coming out called Animal Friends, and Ryan Reynolds, it's like his new movie, and Addison Rae is going to have a part in it. It comes out in 2025. So maybe, I don't know, Taylor Swift threw some sort of party and Ryan Reynolds went and invited Addison Rae, and Addison Rae did something at the party. If you would believe the blind items, perhaps she was coked to the gills or taking photos and being annoying, and now Taylor Swift doesn't want her in her parties again. I have no idea. This is very vague. This is a blind item that I could see being a thing. This former A-plus list TikTok star turned failed actress, okay, ouch, has 2 high-profile churches fighting for her business. They know she will bring in a lot of new people into whatever church she chooses. High-profile influencers can make a ton of money right now if they can get their followers to attend specific churches in person or online. And I believe that. But you know what's like so crazy about blind items? Then like right after that is this one saying that like Addison Rae is sleeping with these real estate agents so she can shoot content in super nice homes that she wants people to think are hers, or like blah, 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 but it's not. And it's like, you are all like all these things. It's almost like conspiracy theories, like when they start to contradict each other, and it's like the earth is flat, but actually it's not flat because it's a cube, and actually it's not cube because we're in a simulation, and actually, like it starts eating each other's tail. And it's like Addison Rae, I don't know, like she's calling the paparazzi and like making money on paparazzi shots. And if she so much as joined a church, she would have all of this money, but also she's broke all the time, which is why she needs to sell her whole to real estate agents. And it's like, okay, my personal take, you're the 5th most followed person on TikTok. I don't think you're going to struggle with money. Now, we do know that celebrities are a little bit like nay on social media influencers because they're jealous of us. No, it's because, obviously like their career is a lot more admirable than us. But we've had all of these different quotes of like Jennifer Aniston poo-pooing on like YouTubers and stuff like that. And you might be wondering, which Hollywood cream of the crop is jealous of Addison Rae, or at least being a little bit botchy to her. Okay. The TikTok star turned actress at an event yesterday was said in the statement, to the TikTok star turned actress was said the statement, put some clothes on, from an aging permanent A-list actress who comes from an acting family, blah, blah, blah. People believe that was Jane Fonda, and it was at the WIF Awards. And then there was another blind item saying this permanent A-list, mostly movie actress who was an Oscar winner / nominee totally blew off this A-plus list TikTok star at an event saying, quote, she doesn't belong here. And that was allegedly Halle Berry. People are mean, like chill out. Like there's room enough for everybody, except if you're a celebrity making a podcast, and then there's no room for you or an eyeshadow palette. See, I could be hypocritical too. Okay, this blind item, like it sounds insane, but also after all of the Diddy stuff, like I kind of like look at things like this a little bit differently, but it says, one of the parents of this A-list social media star, so you can assume Monty Lopez, her father, is trying to sell keys to a swinger party featuring very young social media female stars. They are getting in for free and are being paid $20K each for the night. The keys are being sold to men for a minimum of $50K, but it does include a bottle of champagne. And champagne is in quotes, so maybe that means drugs. And this kind of sounds like trafficking or prostitution of some sense. I don't believe it, but I also didn't think that all of the Diddy stuff was going on. And I just think weird things do happen in different circles. So I don't know. We're going to keep today's episode light because we've done a lot of Diddy stuff, but maybe one day we'll do like a How Dastardly is Monty Lopez episode or something. All right. Another example of blind items eating their own tail. Here's one. The world is insane. This A-plus list TikTok star, who is a horrible actress, was given $250,000 to walk out of a store. The whole thing took under 15 minutes. And apparently that was when she was, I don't know, walking out of some sort of Michael Kors shop in a Michael Kors crop top with a matching miniskirt. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's how much she got paid for it, but how can you write a blind item like that and then be like, she's sleeping with real estate agents because like she doesn't have a nice enough looking house to film content in? It's like, please. Okay, there's like a lot of yachting blinds. I just don't believe these, so I'm not going to read them. For example, there was one yachting blind where it was like, ooh, like this A-plus list TikTok star, like she just had her trip paid for by like a very wealthy older man, like blah, blah, blah. And it was her in Turks and Caicos. And she was there with her boyfriend, Omar Fetty. So it's like, obviously that's not true. We, of course, have the blind item that kicked off everything years ago. This A-plus list TikTok, barely out of her teen star, is hooking up with this married A-plus list podcaster. And this is when people thought after this blind item that Addison Ray and Joe Rogan were hooking up. And this was because she was like doing something with like involved with like the UFC, and Joe Rogan was there too. And then this blind item came out. I don't believe it. If it is true, I will literally like eat a sock on YouTube. I just really don't think that it's true. Okay, another encounter she had with a celebrity, allegedly. Speaking of that A-plus list TikTok star mentioned previously, this former A-plus list mostly movie actor who has been out of work for nearly a decade, Mel Gibson, hit on her hard and offered a bunch of money for some alone time with her. If you are a member of my Patreon, patreon.com/FluentlyForward, we did an episode early on in my Patreon career where each member of my family came on and told a story like that they had with a celebrity interaction. I think mine might have been, maybe it was Miley Cyrus or something. My brother was Taylor Swift's dad, and also Tom Felton or Daniel Radcliffe. And for my mom, it was when Mel Gibson hit on her, and the story of how she ended up taking a bite out of his croissant. And anyway, just like this whole thing when he was on set for Braveheart. So if you want to listen to that story, it's over on Patreon. Another celebrity allegedly hitting on Addison Rae. This female dancing TikTok star is being hit on hard on an almost daily basis by this A-list married television show host. And people thought that that was Jimmy Fallon. I could see that. I feel like Jimmy Fallon's type, Ariana Grande, I think, Addison Rae, I think. There seems to be a theme. It's giving creepy, at least to me. There was a blind item about how she's threading the needle when it comes to SAG violations and being compensated for influencing. Dude, I bet a bunch of influencers are doing tons of like sneaky ads and not mentioning it and getting paid for it. I could totally believe that. There's 1.5 million like she's yachting, like she's actually like sleeping with a Netflix executive, or like this man who's paying her like $1 million a month to hang out with her or something like that. I don't know. I don't believe it. So I'm going to skip those. This was an interesting one. Remember when she was friends with Kourtney Kardashian and people were like, that's crazy because there's like, I think Addison was like 22 and Kourtney was like 42 or something like that. Did I think that it was weird? I mean, it's definitely a big age gap, but I also do sometimes think, okay, it'd be different if you're dating, but if you're just friends and you are kind of in the same life stage, like I'm friends with some influencers who are much older than me and then also some who are much younger, but the difference is probably like a decade, not like 2 decades. I don't know. Let me know if you thought that that was like weird or if it made sense or anything. It seems like she doesn't really hang out with Kourtney Kardashian anymore. And of course, because there's all of these yachting blind items, there was this whole kind of narrative in the blind item world that A, Scott Disick was like trying to hook up with Addison Rae. And then also B, that the Kardashian family was like trying to, they kept saying groom Addison Rae, but I don't know in what sense they meant, but groom in a sense where it's like they wanted to set her up on dates with people. And it says, quote, this A-plus list social media star says the people grooming her went radio silent when she refused to go on a date with an A-list athlete. I don't know. I did see this very interesting article title that was locked, so I couldn't read it, but it was talking about how the Kardashians are reaching out to Addison Rae because she has relatability and authenticity that they just cannot have because they're, Kardashians with a capital K, crown on their head. And people now, I think, we're going to talk about this more next week when we talk about different like celebrity brands flopping and doing well, like why the Kardashians sometimes flop, but then sometimes do well compared to other celebrity brands. And I think a big thing is we're moving into a place where like people are over consumption. We're over looking at our phones all the time. We're over being disconnected. Like we want things to feel real and we want to be like environmentally conscious and get good bang for our buck and not have microplastics in our testicles, etc. So anything being pushed out by the Kardashians, I just don't think it's going to do well in this new age of Aquarius that we're in because the Kardashians are just like so fake and phony. So maybe they look at someone like Addison Rae, who, as Charlie XCX says, is this young, fresh, non-jaded breath of fresh air in the industry. And they're like, ooh, we need her or something. I don't know. I don't think that they really were friends. I'll say like, the age gap between her and Kourtney Kardashian being friends was a little bit odd and unusual. But maybe hot take. I was kind of here for it. Like I love the photos that they took together. I thought that it was just like fun and different. So there we go. That is all about Addison Rae. Please let me know your thoughts. Do you love her? Do you hate her? Are you streaming Aquamarine? Have you heard? And did her dad hit on you? It seems like it happens a lot. And why do you think she's big? Or maybe I've got it wrong and you think she's not big and her 15 minutes are going to be over. I'm curious about everything. So let me know. Spotify comments, YouTube comments, Instagram comments, TikTok comments, just comment. I love to see it. And I will see you guys next week. If you want to go check out our episodes over on Patreon as well. New episodes every week as well, patreon.com/FluentlyForward. So I will see you guys soon for another episode. Bye.